Welcome to the beautiful Catskills, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr.
Uoulph Jonsen.
Today I'll be teaching you all about plants and animals. Catskills are home to a variety of different plants and animals, as you will come to see today during this video. Now, keep in mind, the sun is setting, so depending on just how deep into the forest we go, we may end up even seeing some nocturnal animals. But we'll get to that a little bit later. We've got some basic animals to get through first. All right, we got our first animal here, guys. All right, this is an American robin. As you can see, he's sleeping. Yeah, he's sleeping. So these are his entrails. Based on how greasy that one looks, I would say that that's probably his liver. And that thing right there next to his neck, that's his eyeball, believe it or not. So he'll be fine. He's so because the Catskills are such a varied environment in terms of the terrain, plants around here have to learn to be very adaptive. So as you can see here, this is a witch hazel, which has just grown right into the side of this little rock outcropping here. Obviously, it's a pretty new plant, considering that this outcropping was made when this road was put in. But there's also lots of mosses and some branches which are growing up from underneath right around the rocks. And when they wedge themselves in, they actually help to weather the rock, which is why so many of these pieces are falling apart. That's a form of organic weathering. So as you can see here, there's a slow children at play. That's kind of sad. I don't know why they had to designate them as being slow children, but yeah, so children. Not necessarily an animal, but there are a lot of signs around here, as you've probably noticed if you've ever driven around here. There's some for deer, there's some for cows, there's some for slow children. There's a wide variety of animals, and for some reason they all decide that they need to cross our beautiful God-given roads instead of just staying where they are. Now, if there's one thing that really rattles my bones, that really shivers my timbers, people who litter. Okay? If you come to the Catskills and you throw items of any kind, glass bottles, plastic wrappers, even a little tiny cigarette butt outside of your window, I will personally come and hunt you down, okay? I've got a really big problem with people who litter. And it's actually, it's extended through my family for a really long time. We've always been advocates of nature. And when we see people who just disrespect this beautiful land that we all live in, it's so disappointing. So come and visit, but be respectful of the nature, okay? And if you see trash, even help pick it up. You never know. You might help save a slow child. So right there, in the middle of the yard, in the middle of the screen right now, is the very common American robin. And most states in the US have the American robin, so he's not necessarily that special. But hang on, I'm gonna wait for this vehicle to pass. They are still very beautiful. They have that really striking orange belly with the gray back. So every single time that you see one of them or you hear them, you immediately know that spring has come. And for us here in the Catskills, winter has just left us, so this is a welcome sight. and it shows us that that permafrost is finally gone, and we can finally start doing things outside again. Now, if you're staying up in the Catskills, especially around this time of year, early spring, you may have noticed one of these. And now, you're probably wondering, Mr.
Wolf.
What is this? What is this weird little worm thing you're holding? Well, the thing is, it's a plant of some kind. I don't really know what it is.
Hey. If you don't know what it is, don't bring attention to it.
Are you?
Just keep rolling.
Are you sure? Like it's kind of cool looking.
I get that, but we need to keep moving. We need to stay authentic. We need to be real.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking. Is that some view or what? I'm talking about the nature, not me. Stand that way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking. Is that some view or what? Now this is the kind of view that you come to expect from nice Catskill evenings. And we are privileged enough to be right out here at the perfect golden hour. Now that sun is just hanging right above the horizon, and I would say within about 20 minutes to half an hour, it'll be night. So we have just a little bit more time left before we can go out and film some critters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been around in the Catskills, you may have seen one or two of these signs. You really don't need to worry about them. They're really just kind of guidelines. Like, the Catskills have this really nice thing around here where if you're confident enough, you can go anywhere you want. Just act like you live here. You already do. You should be well versed enough to do this. See, luckily enough, I actually do live around here, so I'm just privileged like that. But the rest of you, it's a little tips and tricks, a little life hack from your friend, Miss Uoulph Jonsen. Private property means nothing. We don't care. If you pick the wrong property, they might shoot you. So wear your running shoes. But for the most part, these people aren't around anyway, so just go ahead, come on. Ah, isn't that beautiful? What a nice day. Now, I am down here by the lakeside today to see if I can show you all some newts. Now, keep in mind, winter did just end. There's one right there, right on the surface of the water. Now, keep in mind, winter did just end, so all of these guys are coming out of hibernation. So, what newts and frogs do around here is they'll bury themselves inside of the mud, which actually maintains quite a bit of warmth. And because it's lower than the surface of the water, obviously, the water above them will freeze and it acts like an insulation barrier and keeps them warm throughout the winter. They basically just go into a long sleep, and then as soon as the ground heats up enough and the ice melts above them, they all come out of their little hiding holes and resurface. Did you get good footage of that salamander? I might be able to find you another. All right, I'll find you another here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're wondering how a big old handsome hunk like me managed to land such a beautiful spot out here in the Catskills. And I'll explain it to you. So, nature's a part of me, and I was born into it, and I was raised in it. I mean, I've grown up in it. I've lived in it all my life. It's become a part of me on a spiritual level, and it's as much a part of me as for you, it's not a part of me. And I mean that in the sense that, well, the fundamental active ingredient in living like me and having this kind of oneness is to just be a part of it. And I mean that in the sense that to be one have to be one with it, and you have to just flow with it, you know? Like nature's like that. Nature just moves, and you have to be like the witch hazel. You have to adapt. You have to be like the dead robin. And sometimes life's just gonna run over you. And you have to be like that slow child. Because sometimes life doesn't go fast. So you can learn a lot from nature. You can see these beautiful things. You can see the newts coming out of their hibernation, and you can think to yourself, the fundamental ingredient to living like the newts, to living like the dead robin lived, to living like the slow children, is to... Well, let me give you a diagram. So you have two things, right? Like one of them is a big thing, and one of them is a little thing. And they're both squishy, right? Like you can squeeze them and they just like juice comes out of them. So if you have the two things and you push them into one another, all of a sudden they're not two things anymore. All of a sudden they're one thing. They're one big thing. And I think that's beautiful, because the little thing is as much you as it isn't me. Because I'm the big thing. But the big thing is also nature, you know? Like all of those things that I just mentioned, they've all been here. And I've been here too, because I was raised in nature. I was born in nature. I was raised in it. I've lived in it all my life. And it's become a part of me. And it's become a part of me on a spiritual level. And it's as much a part of me as it isn't a part of you. Yeah. Can we find something else to film? Whoa. All right, you guys aren't going to believe this. Ladies and swallowed a fly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very rare thing. It's a stone cube. It's actually not, it's not a cube. It's actually, it's just a prism, but made out of stone. Hi. Check out this pile of rocks with me, guys. This is an ancient cairn, guys. I don't know how long it's been here. I don't know who made it. It seems like just a pretty regular old pile of rocks, right? But when you So yeah, I mean, it seems pretty regular to me, but just figured I'd draw some attention to it because it is a pretty cool structure to find out here. And if you've got one of these on your property or wherever you're hiking, just make sure you pay it fealty, the usual stuff. Just don't like light candles around it or anything. Just be responsible around your ancient cairns.
Where in the hell did this guy go? Alright. I have no idea where this guy went. Everything's fine. Everything's okay.
The ancient Jews no longer be honored. The ancient Jews will no longer be honored. The ancient Jews will no longer be honored.
Okay. I think I'm okay. I think he still has his mic on.
The ancient gods, they lie dreaming in wait. I can smell the fear on your bones. I can taste it. I am the big thing. I am your reckoning.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Uoulph Jonsen. Do you guys want to learn about nature?